big country that has billions, and most people when they take it's just trying to see its country taking more than I'm not judging that. At the end of the day, who's getting so that money's waste? I don't know. It's just
Welcome back to the podcast. If you haven't listened to any of our previous episodes, please go and check them out now. So today I'm going to be talking with someone called Emmy Pate. She's a spoken word artist, a musician, and an ADHD advocate. So I met her last year, I think, at a Simplest Talks event, and we were on a panel discussion. We were talking about a lot of things, but one of the things we touched on was like mental health and talking about how to take care of yourself. So today I want to talk about that more, talking about mental health, but in particular ADHD and how it's affected her, and especially for me as someone who hasn't really been affected by ADHD, I don't really know anyone with it, how people like us can make life easier and better for people with ADHD. So it's not just a one-way conversation where people who have ADHD are trying to advocate for themselves and no one's supporting them. So yeah. Hello.
Hello, you alright?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Okay. So I've already started recording, but the first thing I just want to do is just introduce yourself. So who are you and what do you do?
Okay, cool. I'm Emmy Pate and I'm a spoken word artist, musician and public speaker living in Essex and spend a lot of my time in London.
Okay, cool. So what made you start doing spoken word? Like what got you into that?
I started originally I was a musician. I spent many years in sort of bands and writing music for other people and performing as a solo artist as well, gigging in pubs and clubs. And eventually that then moved a couple of years ago, about 2.5 years ago now, I decided to make the crossover from music to spoken word and poetry. But I've always been obsessed with writing and writing songs and writing poems and writing really good sort of outlet for me to sort of express myself. So that was the sole reason that I decided I've got a lot to say. So I made that crossover to spoken word.
What do you think? Because a lot of people, when they hear spoken word, they think that's great and all, but it's not for me. Like, what would you say to someone who thinks that music and spoken word is just not something that could help them, not something that they think they should get involved in?
I think as well, a lot of people, and it's a good point, because a lot of people don't like spoken word because they either don't get it or they've been shown that it isn't to their taste. I think things that need to be sort of writing as an outlet, even if music and spoken word is your thing. Even if it's not writing poetry, just writing up and down in general is a good way to sort of let something bottle up in the furniture. And I always found that even if I was just kind of writing the odd thing down about how I felt or how the day was going, that was a way of getting that out of me rather than it manifesting inside and creating negative energy in me.
Yeah, like keeping things bottled up can be very dangerous. Yeah. Okay, so kind of touching with that, I already introduced you as an ADHD advocate, so I want to talk about that. So first of all, when were you diagnosed with ADHD?
This is a really important part of sort of my story, and I think a big part of a lot of people's story is that I initially went for my first appointment about ADHD diagnosis. It was flagged up by someone that ADHD may be a thing for me when I was in my teenage years. And I was in secondary school, and a lot of people thought I was misbehaving. But it wasn't years and years down the line until I was in my 20s that still these things weren't going away. This wasn't hormonal, this wasn't me acting out. This was very much something that was happening to me and wasn't going away. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s, in 2015, 2016, that I then got put on the waiting list for ADHD, and that journey began for me properly. So it's been a real long journey for me to get this diagnosis.
Why do you think it took so long?
I think it seems to be a real issue for a lot of adults, especially women. Primarily, you know, the most common misconception about ADHD is that it's boys, which obviously it sounds to be more commonly diagnosed in boys, but and also the fact that hyperactivity is the sole thing that ADHD is, which we've lately come to realise once we did research and the time has gone on, that is just a very small part of ADHD. And I think a lot of things that sporadically don't look like a problem, when you add them up collectively, I think a lot of the time you're like, oh God, yeah, I never realised that was that. And a lot of women and adults, men as well, are getting misdiagnosed because ADHD plays in so many different ways, and everybody's journey is so different.
Yeah, I think especially someone without ADHD who doesn't always hear about it, one thing, when people talk about it, they either have a misconception where they're just talking about naughty children or people that just aren't paying attention, and they often focus on what you said, the hyperactivity, and I feel like people kind of make it a bit vague. So when someone says, okay, ADHD is just someone who doesn't concentrate, well, what does that mean? Like, how, as someone who doesn't live with it, how am I supposed to know what that entails? So what are some of the things that ADHD has either made you struggle with, or is just different for you as a person?
A real common thing for me was growing up was that I had always suffered with really, really bad disorganisation, but to the point where it was affecting every aspect of my life. So that, of course, a lot of people may forget their phone when they leave the house or might misplace something. But these are common things. For me, it was every single day I was leaving school without leaving home to go to school without any of the things that I needed. Forgetting to do things, simple daily things like brushing my teeth, forgetting to make appointments and take medication that I needed, forgetting birthdays, celebrations. So a real sense of disorganisation, forgetting, procrastination as well. Whenever I got sort of homework and into adult life, deadlines and tasks that I need to, goals that I need to reach, targets that I need to meet, it almost felt like I had enough passion and desire to want to achieve it, but I never fulfilled what I was going for, because I would completely either forget or something else became more important, or I lost concentration, or something else caught my attention. So I think disorganisation, procrastination, forgetfulness were big factors. Also, as well, a massive thing for me was impulse. And as a teenager, I used to do things, and a couple of hours later, think, oh, why on earth did I do that? And I had no answer for the things that I was doing. So things that were scarily sort of worrying. Like, I remember at school as a joke, because I thought it would be really funny, without even thinking for a second, when I was in year 10 or 11, jumping off a balcony. It was really high up, and it was that impulse of, I'm going to make everyone laugh, I'm going to jump off, and without even thinking of the aftermath of that, or the consequences, or how much I would be hurt, or how much I would be in trouble, or I didn't think about any of those things, I would just do it. And then a couple of hours later, be then suffering the consequences of what could have after. So it was, for me, it was really a lot of, I found it really hard to maintain friendships, because I was always on to the next friendship or on to the next thing, and people thought I was the class clown trying to make people laugh, but actually it was, I'm doing this and I don't know why I'm doing this, and that's quite a scary feeling.
So do you think, so particularly when you're growing up, like people around you, if they're looking at you like a class clown, they're not gonna pick up on it, they're not really gonna their first thought is not going to be that this person might have ADHD. So when looking out for it, what is something that you think is really important? So for you, that you put yourself in a position where like you really brought harm to yourself, but you didn't realize it. So do you think that people need to take more care when seeing examples of that, like someone putting themselves in danger and not even realizing that?
Yeah. And I think that it's such as an adult as well, those things that haven't necessarily gone away, even though of course this might be different now, I'm still very unaware of my surroundings sometimes, or sometimes say things and do things that are really lame and extravagant, which aren't necessary in the moment, or maybe not realise when someone, I don't take hints very well, that someone might be hinting something that I don't take that on board, and like those things going into adult life as well are now really apparent. I would say that growing up and looking out for these signs, because I work with children with ADHD now and autism and things like that, and now I really notice the difference of someone who maybe can't be bothered to get something done, and like someone who's
really
putting something off for the sake of, I can't bother to do that, or someone who really wants to be able to do it but can't. And I think that's a real sort of telltale sign of, because I was really excited about doing things. All I really want to do is, I know what I'll do. I'll get it one day. I'm going to write a book and it's going to be really good. And I've spent 2 weeks being easy, overdoing, put it all together, and then it would just disperse into nothing. So it wasn't that I didn't want to do well, it wasn't that I wasn't trying. It was that I was trying so hard that it was never amounted to anything. And I think that is a real sort of telltale for the way things there.
So, sort of working with that, so do you find, what strategies do you use to sort of like beat that, almost to get things done, but also to not put so much pressure on yourself where you feel like, I get nothing done, I can't do anything? Like, what strategies do you use to help yourself?
Oh, a big thing as well is such the effect it has on a person's self-esteem is just astronomical, and the amount of years I spent feeling very, very depressed and feeling like I wasn't good enough or I was different to everybody else. And that's a lifelong journey that I've had to over the years. More recently, I think, you know, I'm different, I'm not worse than anyone, this is just my own journey. And I think now I do certain things to sort of put things in place. It's positive for me to have people around me that are well informed of the situation, so that I can rely on people to maybe help me out of my needs, because I've been so long isolated and keeping things to myself that now I'm quite happy to go, look, I know this is really embarrassing, but do you mind if maybe I don't take this on, maybe like in work or on a new project or something, do you mind if I write this down, or do you want to email that to me as a second copy, or having those people reminding you of different things, you don't constantly feel like, I remember that, so having positive people around you definitely helps. And another thing as well is, even though I'm bad at I definitely helps me when I'm good at it, is timetables. I often find that writing stuff down, if I write something, now I'll email it to me, so take a picture of it, or I'll have another copy of it so I've got backup, so that I'm not solely relying on the thing. So that definitely helps. And being creative as well, using the energy that I already inside of me, because trust me, when you've got ADHD, it constantly feels like you've got never-ending sort of buzz going on in your brain, and it is, at times it could be crippling, but if you use that energy and that buzz and that excitement and passion and the zest for life and put it towards things you love the most, it actually, it's a real success story. And I think that that's something that I've really benefited from these last couple of years, is using all of that energy and putting it towards the things that I really care about. And actually, it's been a bit of a real turnaround with my life, and I've seen that actually I can really achieve the things I put my mind to.
Especially that creative side, like the amount of focus that someone with ADHD can have when you find that thing that you love and keep sticking to it. So focusing, carry on.
If you have with ADHD, you might lose interest quickly on a few things. But when you find the thing that you love, it's like a hyper focus. You don't do anything else. So that can be really beneficial in some cases.
I think that's something people need to focus on, because when people in general talk about mental health, talk about things that affect us in different ways, they always focus on the negative. Like when we have the discussion of mental health, it's always depression, anxiety, always like just not taking time to realize that mental health can be it's good to be different. Like it's good to think differently, because so much can come out of it. Like being creative, so much can come out of it. And I think we often forget that because we're so busy looking at how it can harm people, yes, it can be dangerous, but we also have to focus on the positives.
Definitely, and I think that actually I wouldn't be doing, I do a job that I love. My whole world is music, writing, spoken word. And there's not many people that can say they get up in the morning and every day. I work 6 days a week. I gig every week, a couple of times during the week. I sort of do, these kinds of things, podcasts, tours, writing. I do all things like that I absolutely love. And I think the majority of that comes from having ADHD, because that hyper focus and love for what I do means that I simply won't give up. I will do it until I was best. I think that's the one thing that I love about ADHD the most, is that it enables me to do something that I'm good at and something that I love every day of my life.
That's great, yeah. So when not a lot of people know about ADHD, and I don't know why that is, because I was reading some facts about it. It's not even like, it's not a small thing. Like millions of people have it. So why do you think that it's not talked about and not understood? Do you think it's, I don't know, just people not understanding what's going on, or is it another reason?
Well, I think primarily, and really quite sadly, is that there are some people in this world that don't believe it exists. They think the ADHD are quicker able to put some people for bad behaviour. And that's just because over the years, the stigma that is attached to it, I don't know how you go about breaking down that. And I think the only way you can do that is by sort of talking about it and becoming more aware. And also, I think that there are very, very limited resources because of the cost of grants, because of the budget cuts and things like that. There are very few resources for people. I mean, I'm really lucky, and currently, as it stands, there are 0, last time I checked, support groups for adults with ADHD. There's some out there for children and families, but for adults, there are meetups of people who've got ADHD who have said, look, let's get together and get a meetup. In terms of NHS support groups, there isn't that funding or resource there. And the amount of times that I used to go and get referred to hospitals, and I would get sent on some therapy course for a couple of weeks and then get sent away again. And I think that because people don't understand it, and because there aren't many resources there, it kind of gets swept under the rug a bit. But I think that is changing. I do believe that. I hope so anyway.
So what tips would you give for especially people without ADHD to, what do you think they should do to advocate for ADHD, to not just turn their ear away, think that it's something that doesn't affect them, so they shouldn't talk about it? What do you think we should do?
I think that first of all, it needs to be spoken about in a more positive light, and maybe people should, just not do their research. Don't spend hours and hours, researching something, but there's lots of things I don't know about. But I've got friends who suffer with mental health issues, and and been in relationships with people with mental health issues. And the only way I could do good support to that person is by finding out their journey and finding out what they needed me to do. And I think that should be the same for anyone who's, struggling with anything in their life. And I think ADHD and autism, these sort of if you're a neurodivergent person and you are struggling, sometimes it can be the most isolating feeling because you don't know anyone else like you.
Yeah.
Whereas, and sometimes I found that to be really lonely. So I would say if you are a friend of someone who's got ADHD, or even if you don't know anyone with ADHD, be mindful of the fact that these people do exist, and don't write it off completely, and maybe take time to speak to people and just find a little bit more out about it, and support any events that are going on that really champion these things, because the more we speak about differences and the perk, if you will, of having a brain like ours, that it will be this step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's something people in general just need to get better at, not just focusing on themselves, but thinking that you could actually be someone's comfort just by you opening up a conversation. You could be helping someone, you could be saving their life even. So it's always important to just, as you said, be mindful, be open to new things. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Big country that has billions, and most people when they take is just trying to see its country. People taking more than one, judging it. At the end of the day, who's getting so that our money's wasted?